What's up, people? So today I'm going to continue on with the discussion about time. Um, I'm surprised at how many people have been watching. I don't know how long anyone actually watches, but to respect to you if you are watching, and just put anything in the comments, any comments whenever you think. Just let me know, because it's nice for me. It helps to see what direction to take things. But I'm just going to continue on because it's an interesting topic and it's really poignant. And again, I'm going to try and elaborate because it's conceptually quite heavy at first, but it's very accessible to your own consciousness. So it's one of these things of it's observable by thought experiment, and through those observations, it leads to a lot of different conclusions, and it's very clarifying for actually taking control of your situation, your life, your mind, etc. So just to sort of recap to last time, we're talking about this quantitative and qualitative distinction, right? Fundamentally, if just through phenomenological observation of life, what you see is a field of qualities, right? Qualities are intensities. They are immanent to themselves. They're completely unique, and from our experience, what we see is basically a seamless whole, right, with many billions of different quality aspects. And what determines what we actually move into the quantitative or field of conceptual field is it's a matter. It's a function of the mind. It's a function of selecting and isolating specific qualities and then abstracting those into a spatial field, a uniform field in our minds, which we can then use to make distinctions and make more information about. Now, the interesting thing to take away is that when you observe your actual experience of time as a qualitative experience, then it leads you to conclusions about life and how to actually lead your life. And also, on another side, in terms of on the large scale thinking issues of society, right, where we have this sort of really elaborate and very highly specialized thinking system, scientific minded thinking, and it's very good at productive logic. It works very well, but you see that the downside of that is destruction. And I think it's really linked in with this failure of making the distinction between the qualitative field and the quantitative field, in the sense that what's primary in the qualitative field are sensations and feelings, and these are actually primary determining and structurally formative phenomena in the universe. So while we're living in a way where we're mostly quantizing ourselves, our lives, we're living in a dominantly quantitative logic, what we get is a sort of leveling of the importance of understanding and really feeling life. And what you get at the end is, if you follow that too hard, you get to a point where you've lived so long, you've done all this shit, but what does it really mean? You feel empty because to a certain degree we negate ourselves and the feeling aspect of our own lives, which I think is interesting. When in another discussion before about the complexity and morality, the interesting thing is that it's our immanent connection to life that gives us our sense of morality. It gives us meaning. It's the fact that we're embodied beings, that we have these instinctual drives which are totally undermined in society, or at least in the dominating logic. There's all these facets, but you have to look at the real dominating logic that's driving society, which is obviously shifting right now, which is why I'm bringing this stuff up. But if you follow that, then it's very easy to understand how we get into the state where there's such destruction and self-destruction, which is like the major issue. The major things going on is self-destructive. If you take society as a whole and you assume that you see the human organism as a one, we have a self-destructive issue right now. And I'm arguing, and a lot of other people can argue by just straight up observing, that actually that's rooted in the over selection for the quantitative information, and the lack of, we don't have right now intellectual technology to deal with the effective and qualitative aspects of existence, which is why, again, return to the Eastern philosophy. So for the second half, let's just talk about the implications for life, right? And actually going back to this when I was talking about generating the kingdom, a video there, or what these spiritual practices are really teaching, right? Because on the whole, right, there's the aspect of your physical body training and calming yourself, and and regulating your nervous system, right? So you remain calm. But the other aspect to that is all virtue practice, and they call it karma yoga, and also how you deal with your job and stuff like that. Because what all and the last moment of life, right? All you have is the expanse of time that you've lived and in your memory, because that's what's created is this qualitative field of information that you've accumulated through time. All the conceptual stuff is just basically pragmatic for use in actual daily activities. But what's left and has significance in the soul aspect is the quality, and that quality is what we are creating every day, depending on how we approach and what we value in our lives. So how you live and how you feel and all these different things are the substance actually of what your whole life is and what our experience of time really is. So when we're talking about being virtuous and all these things, analyzing and weeding out the negative destructive thought patterns, also considering making the distinction between how much you need materially and then what the qualitative outcome of that is. It's like, again, I think the overemphasis on qualitative and material thinking leads to this sort of self-destructive, continuous and never-ending desire for accumulation of more and more quantity, without really respecting or understanding what the qualitative effects that has on our lives, because that's basically in the culture, isn't it? And it's part of spiritual training is also learning to overcome the emotions, but it's in a different respect. It's not to force your body to become a machine to adhere to a quantitative model that's predetermined in order to hit targets and stuff like that. Like that's very useful and it's part of being like useful in society and doing something. But at the same time, the higher level aspect of what your life really is a qualitative thing. In the end, it's about the feelings. It's about how the things make you feel, and a lot of the real information. What I'm saying is that there's a need logically to start addressing the qualitative aspect of experience and to start to see that in a scientific manner. That science has been done by the Eastern philosophical schools mostly, and also this is run through all philosophy and all history of thinking and even great authors and stuff like that. But my major point here is to show that there is an underlying logical reason for why we need to take account and give more respect to actually life and respect for life, and there's a distinction that's drawn with the quality, quantity, subjective, objective, in the general thinking patterns that leads to the it's basically making anything that's not quantifiable into like sort of an illusion or useless, pointless, and even like as if negating its existence, right, and its importance in life. And what Bergson brings up with his theory of time, and also what that implies, is that actually no, this is a mistake, and that there's two complementary forms of evidence to observe and to explore and to systematize in the human experience. And being obviously quantifiable things, which are very useful, but then also the quality, the actual qualities of existence, where all the information comes first in quality, right? And then we're abstracting that. So to give the primary importance to the quality is the way to get out of the mind and into your life, and to be living in a way where you can create something that's what you're after, peace or whatever you're after. But it requires the application of really focusing on the quality, which is really the primary source of conscious information. So that's my point basically for today, is that there is an issue at the bottom of our thinking, and that's leading to all the destructive and basically self-destructive and collectively destructive behavior. And that's rooted in the undermining of the importance of the actual feelings and an inability to access, even to talk about, to deal with feelings. And I obviously there's all the caveats of saying, well, yeah, manipulation comes through feelings, and if we're just all completely controlled by our emotions and this and that. But the fact is that everyone knows what a comfortable bed is. Of course, you can sleep on the floor, and that's not bad for your back and stuff, but everyone knows what comfort is. Cats and animals, they make comfortable dens. There's all this sort of stuff that's basic life respect for life, that's undermined by the lack of acknowledgement of the second the second form of the second line of facts, as Bergson calls it, that's available to us. So I'm just saying, this is just for you guys to bear in mind and to open your minds a bit. And hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like, and see you in the next one.